Shane was released on April 23, 1953. Directed by George Stevens, it is an adaptation of the 1949 novel by Jack Schaefer. Taking inspiration from the Lincoln County War, Shane tells the story of a lone gunman, played by Alan Ladd, who rides into an isolated valley where a conflict between the cattlemen and the peaceful homesteaders is brewing. Shane befriends and begins working for Joe Starrett, the ostensible leader of the homesteaders, and comes into conflict with rancher Rufus Riker's men.
I thought I told you if you wanted to keep healthy to stay out of here. Now get going.
After beating them in a brawl, Shane and Starrett drive Riker to hire a notorious gunfighter named Wilson, played by Jack Palance.
Why don't we just gun him and get on with it? One's run already, it won't take much to stampede the rest.
From here, the film builds to the inevitable confrontation between Wilson and Shane. Like the novel, Shane is told from the perspective of Starrett's son Joey, played by Brandon DeWilde. Joey idolizes Shane, and his mother becomes increasingly concerned about Shane's influence on him.
Guns aren't going to be my boy's life.
Because of this, the violence is accentuated. Director George Stevens, in order to emphasize the terrible power of the gunshots, created a cannon-like sound effect by firing a large caliber weapon into a garbage can. He also had the shooting victims rigged with hidden wires. Ironically, Alan Ladd was uncomfortable around firearms, and it took 116 takes to film the scene where Shane teaches Joey to shoot. Ladd was also unusually short, only 5'6", and the crew had to take special care to hide the fact that he was shorter than co-star Van Heflin. Shane is a classic hero, a sort of chivalric knight-errant figure who wanders the land looking to right wrongs. His attempt to lay down his guns and seek a normal life are futile, because his violent ways set him apart from society. Instead, he enables the homesteaders to continue their lives peaceably without interference from Riker and his men. He also keeps Starrett from having to kill Riker, in the process losing any chance of being able to settle down himself.
Here, Marion, hide this. He'll be all right. No one can blame him for not keeping that date.
It is heavily implied that Shane and Starrett's wife are attracted to one another, but his violent ways alienate him from her. In the end, by saving Joe, he loses her.
You were through with gunfighting.
I changed my mind.
Are you doing this just for me?
For you, Marion? Joe, little Joe.
Loyal Griggs' picturesque cinematography paints an idyllic picture of rural community life. The film was projected in flat widescreen, a format that Paramount invented in order to offer audiences a wider image than television could provide. Shane is another classic Western that has become divisive since its release, with some arguing that its mythic aspirations are pretentious and leave the drama feeling empty. Nevertheless, it's inarguably an influential Western. It was adopted as a TV series in 1966 starring David Carradine, and the plot was later reworked by Clint Eastwood for his film, Pale Rider. It also features prominently in James Mangold's Logan.
A man has to be what he is, Joey. Can't break the mold. There's no living with the killing. There's no
Going back from right or wrong, it's a brand. A brand sticks. There's no going back. Now you run on home to your mother and tell her everything's all right. And there aren't any more guns in the valley.